Junior Volleyball Association presents Sideline Strategy, a volleyball podcast. Today's episode features head coach and vice president of volleyball operations at the Orlando Valkyries, defending champions of the Professional Volleyball Federation, which is now Major League Volleyball. Let's dive right in and learn more about Amy's journey to her leadership role today, as well as relive her memories as a young volleyball athlete. Amy, thanks for joining me today.
Thank you for having me. I always love talking volley, so excited that you guys asked me to be on.
Awesome. Well, listen, you've had an impressive coaching career, which began as a graduate assistant at South Carolina in 2010. While you were a student athlete at Alabama, breaking the program DIGS record, starting libero. Did you already consider a career in coaching volleyball at that point?
Say that coaching has always been something that's kind of a part of what I thought I would be doing. I come from a sports family. My brother played a lot of sports, and my dad coached us in many of these things. So softball, basketball, baseball for my brother. Never coached volleyball. He knows that he would not, he knows nothing about that. But I've just always been around sport for so long and been going to camps and being a part of it. So there was always this like little itch to do it, but I think coaches will still tell you this day, like, don't get into coaching if you're looking for money. And so as a young adult coming out of college, I was like, I can't coach, like I'll be poor, all of these things. So I
Mhm.
actually went to grad school to figure out what that next step for me was going to be and what path I was going to take. And so during those 2 years there is really when I was like, why am I lying to myself? Like, just go try coaching, and you have, what felt like a little bit of a knack for it. So give it a shot.
Yeah, well, good thing you did. You had that calling, right? Oh, well, you were the associate head coach for USC's women's volleyball program, where you secured the nation's top-rated recruiting class in 2022. You also coached at University of Alabama, Birmingham, and Villanova, in addition to your first stop at South Carolina. Can you describe your current coaching philosophy and if or how your philosophy has evolved as you've transitioned from D1 grad assistant, assistant coach, associate head coach, now professional head coach?
Yes, I think it's transformed tremendously. And it's had to, being in the professional space. So when I originally got into coaching, a lot of it was about, being there for young women who are going through a time when life is hard and college is tough. And I wanted to be a great, mentor and role model for those people. And as I, continued coaching, that relationship piece has always been important to me. It's still probably the number one thing, but as I've transitioned into this professional role, it has become very much more about being tactical and being able to do volleyball, analysis and scout things. And I found that that's how you build the trust with these players of this high level. And so it's kind of reversed. It's like, all right, we start our trust now with volleyball stuff and then work into a relationship, where earlier on it was, I need to build this relationship for trust so that I can be hard on you about volleyball things. So it's been really fun for me to grow and learn and add new tools to my toolkit. And I've really enjoyed this transition period for me as a coach.
Yeah, that's so interesting. And you played for First Alliance Volleyball Club. So Sue Keck, she's been club director
Absolutely. Yep.
in that club, and now her daughters are, leadership roles. I mean, they're just an awesome family. They do a lot with JV education too, and they do such an incredible job developing high-level volleyball players. So, what are your favorite moments when you think back to playing junior volleyball, in which coaches made a positive impact on you as a young athlete, just learning the game?
Yeah, I mean, I would not be where I am without Sue Keck and Julie Heatherly. They were my first coaches at the 12s age group. Was it
Wow.
12s or 14s? I don't even remember when I started, sixth grade. But I'll never forget going into that tryout because I've never played volleyball before. It was the first time that I was entering this atmosphere. I was a basketball player, a softball player, and I just went, okay, be as athletic as possible. Like, you don't know anything about this. And they saw something in me, and I stayed with them the entire time of my club career. And why I picked volleyball over the other sports was because of club volleyball. The camaraderie, the hotel stays with your teammates, the long tournaments that you just, are sitting on the floor with your team for 2 hours. But there was
Mhm.
something really special about what volleyball was providing me as a teammate and an athlete that I just went, I can't stop playing this. Like, I want to go as far as possible with it. And then getting into college and going on recruiting visits, it was really just an amazing atmosphere to see in college, even way back then. And so it's incredible where it's gotten now. But I have to say, yeah, that early influence of Sue and Julie made me fall in love with volleyball for sure. And
Mhm.
she will laugh, and she already knows this, but it was Mrs. Keck to us. Like, we could never call her anything but Mrs. Keck. Now I walk in the gym and everybody's like, Sue, how are because she's got grandkids. And I walk in and I'm like, are you gonna be soft on us? Are you gonna? She was like, no, absolutely not. Which she didn't. They taught you discipline and commitment and showing up
Mhm.
all the time and not giving up. And it's just it was incredible what they did for me and my volleyball experience.
That's awesome. I got some goosebumps there. So let's transition to the upcoming MLV season, which is kicked off, right? You guys are training.
No, we start training December 1st. So
Okay,
we have our draft, our college draft coming up in 2 weeks. So that's going to
cool.
kind of be like the first, seasons here. We're ready to go. And then practice starts December 1st. And we go for about 6 weeks. And then we have our first game.
And your team is returning several key players from last year's championship team, including the 2025 PVF MVP, Brittany Abercrombie, first Team Saturn Championship MVP, Shampoo, who is only 5'7", right? How inspiring is that for all small setters out there?
Yeah.
Second team middle blocker Kaz Brown, middle blocker Natalie Foster, who set a single season record with 64 aces last season. And you've added decorated players, Charity Looper, Hannah Maddox. So what's your outlook for when you guys start training and the upcoming season, knowing you have all these returners, but then it's pretty exciting who you brought in.
Yes, I mean, our goal is to repeat a championship. It starts in smaller buckets than that, though, right? Like, the first thing you want to do is establish a great team culture. We always say that you make the playoffs. Goal number one is to make the playoffs, because once you make the playoffs, anything can happen. And you kind of saw that with our team last year. So I'm
Mhm.
looking forward to this group. I certainly think that we've upgraded our roster, which you would think, well, you won last year, so how do you upgrade? But that's always part of recruiting and transforming your team to try to either get more physical or better ball control, or what piece can keep helping you elevate your team to the next level. So really excited about this group, excited to get in the gym with them and work with them to see what we can do differently this year.
Very cool. And I love how you mentioned the small buckets and also like acknowledge last year was awesome, right? But then kind of a restart this year. So like looking at the draft coming up, I mean, what are your thoughts going into that? Can you share like what that process is like a little bit for those of us who don't know?
Yeah, there's some certain things in MLV that you have to follow. So, one of them is every team needs to have two draftees or college players on their roster for the entirety of the year. It's really important to our league to grow the game in the US and show that we are giving college players opportunities to continue playing professionally. So,
Mhm.
having that kind of standard of minimum you can have two, maximum you can have however many you want, but I think that's important. And so when we put our roster together in free agency, we always kind of leave space for what we anticipate the positions we need are. So one of mine, I think the best example is a middle. Like, I know I need a middle in the draft. I only signed three in free agency, leaving a specific roster spot open for a middle on that one. And then that also allows me to not have to cut people. That was really big in year one, was kind of like, hey, bring 20 people into the gym and pare your roster down to 14. And no one likes doing that. Like, it's not fun. So
Mhm.
I think most of us as coaches try to avoid that piece of it as best as we can and be pretty specific for what we're looking for in the draft.
Cool. Interesting there. So behind every successful coach, there's usually an incredible support staff. So can you let us in on who those people are for you?
Well, the first is my husband. He's not on my staff, but I would be a crazy pants if it weren't for him. And he coaches college as well. His name's Ahen Kim. He coaches at American University, which is a Division I school in the Patriot League. And it's really sometimes it's overwhelming to like constantly have your home filled with volleyball, but it's also really great to be able to talk about your problems and how to solve solutions. And
Totally.
so even keeled and level headed, that it's like a great balance for me who can be a little emotional sometimes. But other than that, I have a great coaching staff. The last 2 years, I've had a man named Gordon Mayforth on my staff who recently just took a job in Egypt. So he's not with us this year, but like I wouldn't have had such a great learning curve to professional if it weren't for him. He's spent 9 years in Japan over, doing the overseas thing there. He's done a ton of stops throughout the world. And so his knowledge was really beneficial. My other assistant coach is Blake Omardian. He'll be with me for the third year. So great to have some consistency there. And he is just a go-getter. Like I can say, go do this little meaningless task, and he's going to do it to the best of his abilities. And knowing that everything is important. Well, not everything is important. You have to make things important and you have to make them be impactful on the team. And he does a really great job of doing that. And then my last assistant, which is new this year, her name is Erin Olson. She's been a college player, worked on a college staff as a tech coordinator, but most recently has actually coached club in Florida. She coaches for Top Select,
Yeah.
and she's had a really small role on our team the last 2 years in like some capacity. The first year she did some stats for us. Last year we actually signed her as a setter when we had a setter get injured and we were like trying to plug the holes. And so she's familiar with our team. Our team loves her. They respect her. Again, they kind of see how hard she works and the knowledge that she has for some offensive tactical things. And I'm really excited to have her with a full-time capacity with us this year.
Awesome. Sounds like such a great career around you. And I could totally relate to the volleyball coach husband. And it is good to have that person that understands what you're going through, right? So work, speaking of, family and downtime, if there's any work-life balance is a big challenge for coaches, right? Like especially when a lot of travel is involved and late nights watching film, putting scouting reports together, you name it, interviews that you do like this one. So what does that look like for you, having work-life balance?
I don't think work-life balance exists, but I think that's okay. I think what I have learned is when you have the time, you learn to prioritize what's important to you. So don't lie to yourself and say, oh, I can split everything 50-50, because then you're not going to be great at anything. When you have to do volleyball, be 100% in volleyball. When you
Mhm.
have family time, be 100% in family time. You can be great at a lot of things if you can learn how to prioritize them. And I'd rather live it that way than trying to, spread myself out too thin and do too many things at once.
Good, man. I just learned a lot from that answer. I need some of that. So, okay, I'm really excited about this next topic. Okay. You're a multi-sport athlete. Matter of fact, you were an all-state performer in badminton. So please let us in on this. How did you become an elite badminton player, and do you still play today?
Man, elite is such a strong word. I just played in high school. I'm from Chicago, and I don't know why. You'll have to do a history lesson. I don't know why badminton is so popular in Chicago, but it is. It's really fun. And when I was going into high school, I was trying to figure out how I wanted to be a three-sport athlete. I don't know if those exist anymore today,
Tough.
but it was like so cool to be a three-sport athlete when I was in high school. If you could earn letters in three sports, I mean, that was like awesome. And
Yeah.
so I knew that I couldn't do softball because it messed with the club schedule too much. I
Hmm.
looked into tennis because I had played tennis very briefly when I was younger. But then, like, the coach came up to me and was like, well, what about badminton? Like, we're state champions. Like, we have a really competitive thing here. And one of my club teammates went to high school with me, and we were like, this could be interesting. Like, we could be partners. We could do something different. It's also an individual, as individual as you can. So I went to the open gym and I said, oh, this is really fun. Like, it doing something by yourself is such a different challenge than when you're doing it as a group of six. And
Mhm.
so I just kind of stuck with it. And I, again, just relied on athleticism, tried to pick up the technique that I could. And I was on the JV team when I was a freshman. And then sophomore, I got put on varsity and started transitioning to a singles instead of a doubles. And I don't know, it was so fun. And again, even though it's an individual sport, you're putting your points together as a team to win your state championship. So it was really cool to like go sit on other people's courts and cheer them on and follow them around during the tournaments. So I loved it. I do not play today. I don't even know where people play badminton anymore. I mean, maybe a picnic. And I would feel really bad if I did join in with somebody because I'd probably be like way too competitive and not picnic badminton. I should look into that though. That's really funny.
Yeah, or maybe pickleball's replaced all of that now. Who knows? When's
That's
the
a good point.
season? Was it a winter season?
It was in the spring.
Spring,
So
okay.
it started like right after basketball season. That was the
Oh,
other sport that
perfect.
I played was basketball. And I went right from basketball into badminton and right from badminton into junior nationals. So it was like nothing ever ended there.
That's awesome, Amy. So, what advice do you have for coaches who want to have a career coaching volleyball at the highest level?
I would say get involved in any level. Like I think that there is a little bit of this I have to coach college or I have to coach Division 1. If that's not the opportunity that is in front of you, then don't force it. There's so many great clubs around. There's amazing Division 3, even NAIA opportunities out there. But if your goal is to like coach at the highest level, take what's in front of you, be okay not making a lot of money. I will say that for quite a long period of time. And just make sure you're doing it because you love it. Like I still coach volleyball because I love the joy in the game. I love seeing the players get excited for one another and celebrate together. And I love working on something all week with a player and then they do it in a match and you're just like, yes, that's why this is happening. So I think one, be able to take any job that's available to you. Don't say no to opportunities. And two, make sure that you're doing it for the right reasons.
Awesome. Yeah. So, we are so excited to follow your team this year. I am really excited to follow your team. So, tell us how we can watch, where we can get all the news, what we should do, Instagram, you name it. How do we follow? How do we get tickets?
Get tickets, you can go to orlandovalkyries.com. Any team in MLV has their own website that you can go get tickets through. Obviously, Major League Volleyball has their website as well, and you can watch us on Roku, CBS Sports. I think we'll still probably stream some YouTube games this year. It's such a great platform to allow anybody to be able to watch. So look out. Our schedule is released at on our Instagram, Orlando Valkyries, same with all the other teams. And find a team and follow them and watch them and pick your favorite, college players that are coming out of the draft and cheer them on.
Very cool. I live in Atlanta, so I've been able to follow the vibe, and I'm going to go to a match, and hopefully it's when you guys are playing them. So, yeah,
Perfect.
that'll be fun. Thanks, Amy. Thanks for sharing with us today.
Of course.
Appreciate you being on. All
Thank
right.
you.
Good luck this season.
Thanks. Bye.